marketing channels have the same importance. Therefore, we should be investing in all marketing channels all at once. That is absolutely not true, and I'm going to talk you through why that is.
Hello and welcome to Engage and Thrive, also known as EAT, your coffee catch-up with me, your host, Taelon, where we will go through common problems and hurdles that come up in business, marketing and advertising and try and demystify them. I know firsthand how complicated and confusing it can seem with all the different acronyms and all the things to do in business. So let me try and help you be better in business. First things first, let's start with grabbing a coffee.
This is about picking your marketing channels, or how you basically prioritize your marketing activity, which should absolutely be aligning with your business activity. So first off, just to say upfront, is there is no one and done and no easy fix. Marketing takes time. The reality is, the more you customize it and tailor it to your target audience and your niche and your business, the better and more effective it's going to be. I know how hard this can be. And it has taken me years to develop the understanding and the strategic mindset of what works, how long things take. And obviously, I've been doing marketing for nearly 3 decades. And so it does get better the more you do it and the more familiar you become with the different marketing channels and activity. But things are changing all the time. So go easy on yourself and know that there's always someone you can ask for advice and read articles and everything. And also, at the end of the day, it is your business, whether you are the owner of the business or working for the business. So it's your strategy and your decision. That's not a right or wrong answer. Having said that, and knowing that how hard it is, it's something that I pride myself in doing business advisory around, and it's something that I have my digital agency, it just so happens, developing a software. So we're actually working on software that'll help score business activity and your ideas to help ease that burden of deciding what to do when. Let's cover off vocab. So I'm only going to cover a few ones in here because really we've gone into depth about vocab, and this is about your priority of your marketing activity. So things to note is obviously ROI, return on investment. When you're picking your priorities, you may decide you want the best bang for your buck, so your best return on investment on activity, and that may influence what you do. The other one is KPI, key performance indicator. So again, how are you going to measure your activity and what metric are you setting? Then SEO, search engine optimization, SMM, social media marketing, PPC, pay per click, CTR, click-through rate, CPL, cost per lead. The next one is, there's 2 variations of it and they basically mean the same thing. So there's CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, and CPA, which is cost per acquisition. Then you've got CRM, so your customer relationship management. Then we've got CPC, which is cost per click. We've got A/B testing, which again, we've covered off how you may test things in the market, and UX, which is user experience. Okay, we're going to go through 4 steps about how you prioritize your marketing activity. So the first one to go through, number 1, is setting your brief. So whether you're going to be engaging with a marketing expert or whether this is for yourself, set yourself your brief. And I mean this as in literally write it down or type it down and have it documented, as this is your foundation of how you're going to do the next steps. So first things to think about is, what's your objective? So where you are as a business and what you're trying to achieve next. Are you trying to go into a new market? Are you trying to increase sales? Are you trying to increase your brand awareness? Are you trying to get returning customers? That's your objective. Then think about your time frame. So are you looking to plan for the next month, for the next 3 months, or for the next year? Which kind of also leads into your budget. If you're looking for results within the next month, do you have a budget allocated? And that budget can be monetary, as in we've got £5,000 to spend, or that could be monetary as in I'm willing to allocate 2 days a week to do this. I'm saying this in reference, if you are a business owner, you need to allocate that monetary time to spend on doing this activity. Then think about, what have you done previously? So what have you tried in the past and how effective was it? Would you do it again? And this is the same thing that you would be asked if you went to an expert and they were going to help you. They would ask what you tried before. This also, you may reflect on experiences you've had in other roles, advice that you've heard from people, as in what they think has worked. Make sure it's relevant to your industry and a business remotely like yours. Then you might think about your strengths and weaknesses internally. So the capacity you have right now. If you're a business owner, how much time do you have and how much capacity do you have of an understanding of marketing to be able to deliver this? If you are a team, what skills do you have in-house versus what skills you would need to outsource? Again, this will all impact how we go into step 2 in the prioritizing. Then you need to think about really who is your target customer. Because at the end of the day, your business objective will then be leading to your target customer because you're trying to get more customers or get more sales or get whoever. And you need to understand your target customer to understand how you prioritize your marketing channels. So this isn't necessarily about what you're comfortable about. This is about your target customer. All of this, put all that down, and that is your brief. This sets you the foundation for step 2. Okay, step 2 is going to be your priority impact matrix. It's actually going to be a quadrant, so it's going to be 4 boxes that we're going to populate with your ideas or your marketing activities and then decide what to do next. So you're going to do low impact, low priority, high priority. And how you decide to do the X and Y is up to you which way around you want to swap it. When I say impact doesn't mean that anything that is a low priority, low impact is not going to have any results for your business. It's just, it may be a slow burner one. So that's why you wouldn't necessarily want to do all low at the moment. Each of the different quadrants, I also reference in a different way to kind of like get my mindset into why I would do that activity or what's involved in them. So for example, if we talk about high priority, high impact, I call that all eyes on me. So that are like, you really need to pay attention to those. Those are probably going to generate the best return on investment, but they may be quite chunky projects. Then if you want to think about high priority, low impact. So again, low impact doesn't mean not results. It's just more of a momentum one. So this also people may refer to as low hanging fruit, or I would say is the get started today ones. To give you an example is social media posting. Social media posting would be high priority, low impact, because putting that social media post out today doesn't mean someone's necessarily going to go knock at your door right now and want to buy your product or your service, but keeping that momentum going will generate that audience, that conversion, that sale. So that's why it's a low impact, because it's not going to be right now in your face, I'm buying straight away. Then if you have low priority, high impact, these are usually the expensive ones. So these are the ones where you really have to think about when you can afford to do it and how you would do it. And again, when I'm saying all of this depends on you as a business, because for example, a low priority, high impact one could be a redesign of a website. Now, if you already have a website, a redesign may be an expensive one and low priority, because you've already got a website, right? Whereas if you don't have a website, I would actually put a website in high priority, high impact. So I hope I'm not making that confusing. All I'm trying to say is giving you the examples is it really does depend on you as a business of how these are plotted out. And I'm just giving you very like straight examples. Like I keep saying, make sure you tailor it to your business. Okay, another one for low priority, low impact. So this is what I would call minimal effort. Okay, so these are the ones that you just keep going, you want to commit to doing, but if you don't do it, it's not the end of the world as a business. The examples like this might be being a guest speaker somewhere, attending networking events. Again, being a low priority, low impact, I know for a fact attending industry events, it's good, you can network, sometimes you will get business from it, sometimes not, but it's be good to know, be in the knowledge and in the know. But there may be a cost of a price of ticket, and you have other business priorities that if you think of your value of your time, which we're going back to time frames and budget, it's not necessarily always a good use of your time. I'm not saying don't go to industry events. I'm just giving an example of how it could be a low impact, low priority. So just to run through a few more examples of each of the quadrants, and I've had to write myself down some notes so I don't forget. So I'm referring back to my laptop here. For high priority, high impact, they're all eyes on me. Another one might be SEO optimization. So to use the example of if you had a website, how do you optimize? The reason that it would be high priority, high impact is because if you're ranking for that keyword and people are searching that keyword organically, That's traffic straight away that you're going to get. Another one might be email marketing campaigns. You may think about your funnel of people actually coming through and buying your product or service, and look at where are you losing people? How can you optimize that? What's happening in that flow? Another one might be other content. So are you putting out blogs? Are you doing white papers? Are you doing ebooks? Again, high priority, high impact, because it's in your target customer's face there and then, which again, also all of this does lead back to your target customer, understanding where they are, understanding their platforms. I'm giving you digital examples. You may have a more of an offline focused customer, so that would be completely different examples. Right, next quadrant, high priority, low impact. So again, like we were talking about the get started today, low hanging fruit, social media posting organically, do it. And obviously picking your platforms of what you want to do, but keep that cadence going, keep the momentum going. Google My Business profile, or Google Business as it's called, keep that up to date. Again, a low-hanging fruit that will come up on search rankings, that may come up if people are looking on maps. And the newest integration is on Google Business listings. Google are pulling through social platforms. So you have that real estate more automatically. Running short-term promotions. So do you have any summer promotions, winter promotions, Halloween, Christmas, 4th of July, whatever your situation? Again, that would be high priority, low impact, because you may get conversion, you may not, depends on your target audience. Then newsletters. So everyone loves a newsletter or not, but having a newsletter, again, high priority, low impact, because a lot of people may take time to build that, yes, I want to buy in. They may read your newsletter for 3 months and then only decide they want to buy something. We'd have to go into a whole nother target demographic around active and passive to explain further around conversion time periods and expected conversion times. Then another idea would be refer a friend campaign. So high impact, low priority. Refer a friend. You can't force people to refer your business, but you could incentivize that referral. Again, you don't know that time frame of when someone's referring. So when I was talking about the low impact, as in let's call them slow burners. For low priority, high impact, when I was talking about the expensive ones, website redesign, as I mentioned earlier, developing a mobile app, launching a new product line or a new service. This low priority, high impact, because you may have this great idea, which I regularly do, and go, this is going to be amazing. And then I actually break it down and go, oh my gosh, okay, it's got all of this to kind of do to get to the launch. So low priority in terms of where are we at the business right now? Do we have the ability and the skills and the time frame to actually turn around that idea of a new service line that we want to offer? Paid media. So low priority, high impact. Yes, you may get conversions quicker because you're paying to be exposed, but you're paying for it, right? So as a business, if you have that budget, fine, you might put that in a higher priority. As I said, as a sweeping statement, low priority, high impact would be paid media. And this can be anything from boosting content to paid for ads to going into industry publications. But again, please, this is all business dependent of where you're at. Low priority, low impact. So like I said, your minimal effort ones, you'll keep them ticking over, but it's okay if you kind of park them for now. Attending network events, experimenting with other social platforms. So if you have a feeling that your audience might be starting on this platform, yeah, cool, like build it. And obviously if you've got time and capacity, do it. But again, if you don't do it, it's not going to have huge ROI impact on your business. Guest speakers and interviews. So if you're going to appear on guest shows, and yeah, PR campaigns. So PR campaigns can actually have quite a delayed effect. You may do a huge chunk of PR exposure and actually they don't convert until months down the line. So step 3, which would be around picking the priorities. So now we've got all of them plotted out in the quadrants. Hopefully this is feeling a little less overwhelming because you at least have them in the impact and the priority. Now we need to decide what and how we want to do, and you may now shuffle this around a bit more, right? So the first thing I would say is don't do all of this in one session. I would say you could start by doing the session and then at least sleep on it, if not take at least a week on it and keep coming back to it. So you may want to like ask people's opinions or do a bit of reading or really dig into your data or have a think through about and realign back to your brief again to kind of come up with your quadrants. So And the other thing when I was saying about ideas, so they keep evolving. So this quadrant may keep evolving. So you may want this quadrant as a virtual and online one, because then you can update it quite easily rather than having to scribble down and cross out your notes. But the other things to then think about with those priorities is time of year and seasonality. So is there any external influences that you need to be aware of that may impact your different priority of doing things? So if we're talking about running short-term campaigns, when I gave the examples of 4th of July or Christmas or whatever, that's seasonality. So would that change and shift some of your priority or some of the impact to your marketing activities? Then the other thing is your industry events. Are there competitions? Are there events? Is there places you want to have a booth? Is there anything happening that you want to ride the wave of? So there might be industry events that you want to jump on certain hashtags, even though you're not attending it. Also internal launches. So is there anything as a business that's happening internally that you need to then plan and forecast for, which you either need a build up to, or you need a post event to, or a post launch? And again, internal capacity. So kind of feeding back into step 2 and step 1, being really realistic about internal capacity really helps picking these priorities. What I'm going to suggest is based on just one human. Okay, so if you are a solo business owner, you may have a lot less of a capacity to do this. If you're a solo marketing person, you may have more capacity. If you're a marketing team, essentially you should have more capacity, right? And so this is really, I'm going to give an example of activities of what I would potentially say to someone if they have the ability to do it as a solo marketing person or solo business person trying to really build momentum in their business. For high priority, high impact, so the all eyes on me ones, I would say pick 1 to 2 activities maximum that you want to focus on. Realistically, pick 1 because they're quite chunky, those ones. Then for your high priority, low impact, so your get started today, your low hanging fruit, again, being realistic, 2 to 4 activities. The key one with this quadrant is the consistency. So this is like the updating your Google business profile, doing your social media posting, that kind of thing. These are the consistency is key. So if you take on too many activities, you're not going to be able to maintain it. So really 2 to 4 max. Obviously, if you have the ability to take on 6, fine, just be consistent. Then your low priority, high impact, so the ones that I said are the usually expensive ones, pick 1 activity per quarter. Don't overwhelm, don't do anything more than that, like be realistic about that. And then low priority, low impact, so the minimal effort ones, pick 1, and if you don't do it, like, okay. Step 4, which is essentially how we bring it all together. So you've picked your priorities, you can either turn this now into a full-blown marketing strategy, plot it out, thinking about the dates, thinking about the delivery, how you're going to plot out each of those priority things, fine. Or even just thinking about those activities. If you don't want to turn it into a big project plan and delivery dates and whatever, at least think about realistic targets, okay? So if one of your priorities that you picked from your low-hanging fruit was customer reviews, okay? How many customer reviews do you want to try and get per month or per quarter? The same with your social media posting. What are you going to commit to doing? How many social media postings a week or a day, or which platforms? Or do you want to build your followers, or do you want to build your engagement? Like, pick your metric, and whatever you decide to be your metric, just pick it for now. Let's have it, and then decide what's your reporting that you're going to do. And if you're a solo business owner or a solo marketing person and you have a team, give yourself a reporting. Decide, okay, I'm going to review that data once a week or once a month and report it. You don't need to submit a formal presentation to anyone, but at least have it documented somewhere, because you want to go back and see the activity and what's changing and what's happening, and then give yourself your decision about when you want to adjust things. So I'm going to be realistic. If you're reviewing it weekly, you don't necessarily need to adjust everything weekly. It depends on which quadrant it's coming from, but you may want to make some decision-making movers once a month, and then change where you are. And if something's not working, it's okay, cool, we've tried it. Again, that would feed back into when we're doing our report. We tried it, it didn't work, what else can we try? What is another idea? Where are we at with that? Which quadrant is it under that we can then try something else in that quadrant? Then, so you've got your reporting, you've got your cadence of how you're going to review it, and be realistic about your optimization around it, and also be realistic about what you can do. Don't try and do everything. Pay attention to those quadrants, really try and plot it out, and pick, even if you pick 2 activities from all those 4 quadrants, you're better than you were at the beginning of this conversation where it was just overwhelming a giant to-do list, right? Just keep going. And obviously just think about your quadrants and how you can review it and how you can try and balance off the priorities. I think one of the things that's probably going to be hard if you haven't tried things is knowing what's the impact or what's the situation. So try and get advice, try and ask people who have tried things before. And as I mentioned in the beginning, my digital agency, it just so happens, is developing some software to help with this scoring and prioritizing. If you are interested, I will put details in the show notes. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Engage and Thrive with your host Taelon, and see you next week.